hours. And ladies and gentlemen, we are recording. Hey, Paolo. Hi there, welcome. We're just getting started. If you, let me paste the link here. Let's see. All right, so coming in the chat window here, here's the link to today's worksheet. Please, what we're doing right now is making sure that you have installed the version of RNode that we're using today. That may require you to update to Java 10. Paolo, did Luigi have a new baby?
Yeah, it happened.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's called Luca.
I don't think it matters, NetZipper. The OpenJDK is what I'm using.
Hello.
Hello there. Hey, Pavel. Thanks for joining. We are in the process of people are installing and upgrading to Java 10 if needed. And once we're done with that, we will go through a Genesis process and then see what happens. Here's a link to the worksheet that everybody's working off of.
What's the hash for today, Kelly?
The hash for today is, I will put it in the chat, but it starts with FDF07.
Cool.
I already pasted.
Oh, excellent. You beat me to it. Well done.
All right. Thanks, guys. And then if I could actually run this in standalone and see the hash, is that confirmation my Java is updated?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, so as you find that you are ready, and ready here means that you've installed the version of RNode that we're working with today, and it appears that you're ready to operate your node. If you could either come off mute and say so, or put in the chat window, that'll help us get a sense of when we're ready to take the next step.
Okay. I'm ready.
Thank you, Ned. Thanks, Jeremy.
Hi, Kelly. I'm ready also.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Will. NetZipper, are you running into errors related to the Debian package?
Yeah, I'm also on Debian 9, and the trouble is that version of Java is not available, so we have to like install it manually.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. And I'm sorry.
Who was it that was saying that?
I think Josh, was that your similar situation?
Yeah, totally.
Hey there, Phil. We're just getting started. Let me grab you the link here. So Phil, here's the link to the worksheet. It'll point you to the version that we're using today. And we are in the process of everybody installing that version, making sure that if needed, they are upgraded to Java 10. And from there, we will start with a Genesis ceremony. So as you are ready, just feel free to come off mute and say so, or plop it in the chat window.
So Kelly, this is interesting. I was able to get the new deb package, confirm the hash, ran in standalone, and now when I do Java dash version though, it's telling me I'm on 1.8.
Okay.
Beat that, Ned?
I'm sorry, Jeremy, what was that? Oh, you want me to repeat it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a full, wipe, download the new deb package, confirm, installed it, ran in standalone with no UPnP just to see the hash. Confirm my hash is FDF07. And then back at the command line, did Java dash version, and it's saying version 1.8.
All right, so I actually had that a while ago. Try to run alternatives -- config Java and make sure that it wasn't set for the default. I'll paste it in the chat.
Okay, thanks. Just run that from the command line?
Yeah, because I had the issue where I installed it, but yet it kept putting up the old one, so I have to change the alternatives because it keeps going back to the default.
What OS are you guys talking about?
I'm in Linux, Ubuntu, the latest.
Okay, cool.
I'm getting alternatives, command not found.
Yeah, the command is update dash alternatives, actually. So this.
Thanks.
Great. Oh, sudo. Okay, great. Thank you. Cool. Okay. I've got Java 11. Oh.
Yeah, from what I gathered in the last couple minutes, it looks like Java 10 was packaged as OpenJDK 11 for some reason. I think that's the thing you want.
Yeah, but I would agree with that.
Okay.
That's right.
And then pick auto mode for the status. For that. Okay. Maybe that doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, look good now. Thanks, everybody.
Navneet, welcome. We are just getting started. I'm putting a link to the chat window. The worksheet in the chat window. Wrong order of words. In that worksheet, you can see what the version of Node that we're using today. Please go ahead and install it. You may notice that you need to upgrade to Java 10 as part of that process. And that what's happening is when you're ready to take the next step, please, you're welcome to come off mute or use the chat window to say that you're ready. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, 6 of 20 ready. Joshy, what's your status?
I think getting the latest Java installed is more than I can handle in this window of time. So
Okay.
I'm going to be around for support and guiding today.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a similar kind of sentiment. My Java 10, I have a Java 8, so probably it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think it depends
Are
on
we
the-
sure if you download the package and you run it, are we sure that Java 8 is not enough?
Were you talking to me, Dror?
So
Yeah, I mean, try to download the package. Maybe
I
Java
did
8
download the package and I ran apt install and I got that message I pasted earlier.
No,
It won't
no.
install.
Sorry, I'm talking about the tarball.
Okay, so I downloaded the tarball and I don't see any like make file or install script or anything.
No, sorry, I'm talking about RNode tarball instead of the.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Okay.
All right, so if you are having problems with Java and were attempting to use a Debian package, maybe switch to using the tarball. Is that right?
Yeah, let's see when it's done.
yeah, that's the best way, actually. I agree with that. So question, what kind of feature set are we using from Java per se? I need to upgrade to Java 10. Are there any specific features that we are using from Java 10? I mean, I would imagine, Java 8 should work. I mean, as long as we are not using Java 10.
We're gonna find out. We're not the ones that wrote it, but this is gonna be a fun experiment. I'll report back soon.
Yeah, so currently we don't use anything specific from Java 10, but there is, I think people had in mind eventually using some of new memory management that Java 10 gives. There is a separate garbage collector. That's
right.
Yeah, so nothing at the moment, but in the future maybe.
Okay.
Kevin want to succeed installing Java 10 on Debian 9?
You did? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm asking, can someone help me? Because
No.
I cannot.
You cannot. Okay.
Yeah.
I also failed. I'm trying Dror's workaround of just running the RNode tarball and hoping that it runs fine with Java 8 until I can figure that out more properly.
I mean, that's how I'm running. I usually download tarball. But the version are we running .0.7.1?
Well, you have to be more refined. The hash is FDF07.
Oh, so we haven't changed the version number. So Kelly, can we change, if we change the hash, can we change the version number to .7.1.1 or something like that?
It's a stretch goal, but if you go to, are you in the repository, the testing repository?
That's correct, yeah.
Great. If you pull the tarball from there, it is the correct one.
Okay.
Yeah, this seems like it's working to me. Great idea, Dror. I think I'm ready to roll.
Okay. Bishwak, do you have the opportunity perhaps to try the tarball?
Yeah, could someone post a link?
Yes.
Tarball with RNode.
Yep, here we go. So I'm posting a link to the repository where the binaries are. When you open that, select the .tgz file.
Yeah, I got that.
Great.
So I have a binary of RNode there, and I still need a GDK10 to run that binary.
Joshua,
Am I right?
Joshua, was that your experience when you tried to run the tarball?
No, the tarball just is going to try to use whatever you have, and for me, Java 8 has worked so far.
Yeah. Okay. So you saw I'm ready for a long time ago.
Excellent.
Me too. Big thanks to. See, I love this session because we all learned from each other. That was Dror's tip right there.
So guys, do we need to clean up our .rnode directory?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. If you have run RNode previously, or even if you've run it this morning to figure out if you're running the correct version, please clean up. All right. Joshi, it looks like we have about 50% of people ready. So why don't you go and start talking us through the next steps, please?
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. That's perfect. So my plan is basically this. I want to give just a little bit of information about bug reports and how we can file them in RNode specifically. So Kelly, should I just grab the screen share?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, cool. So, so in my home directory, the default location of your .rnode directory is your home directory and then .rnode. And so, oh, and I don't have one because I haven't run this thing yet. So if I do, oh, let's see if I can figure this out now. It's a little different than before. Oops, RNode bin RNode. Okay, so the normal command is just like RNode run -s for a standalone node. So that's what I did right here. And once this thing spins up, it's going to create a .rnode directory for us, and that's useful for two reasons. One is this stuff that it just spit out here. It just generated a bunch of keys for us, and we'll need those keys when we go to do the Genesis ceremony in just a second. So if you haven't run this at all yet, go ahead and run it like this, RNode run -s, and if you want, you can put -n. That just makes it not do some network stuff. And so then you'll have a key that you can use in this ceremony. And then the second part is, once it gets to this point, you can kill it. And so I used Control-C to kill it. And the reason I did that is I want to show you what's in my .rnode directory. So the thing I wanted to show you is this, rnode.log. So this is basically like the diary where your RNode does its stream of consciousness. All of this output goes in there. So if I just showed the contents of that file, it's all that same stuff that was just on my screen. And this is super useful because whenever you hit a bug, you can give that to the developers. And even though it might be hard to read for us or not make total sense, that'll help them be able to figure out exactly what went wrong. So that was the first thing, this rnode.log file. And then the second thing I want to show you is that gets created is this Genesis folder. And so if you cd into that Genesis folder, then there's a bunch of files in there. And I can make this a little bigger, I guess. And the files are mostly some long number .sk. And so this long number, you can choose any one of these. This long number is your public key. This is the one that you're going to share. It's the one that everybody on the network is going to know. And then the contents of those is your secret key. And so I'm considering these just throwaway keys. I generated them just for this session. I'm never going to use them again. So in that special case, I'm not going to hesitate accidentally showing one on my screen. So like when I show the contents of this file, the contents is my secret key. So the thing I have highlighted right now is a secret key, and its matching public key is the file name. Okay. And so what we're going to try to do is run a Genesis ceremony. That means there's no network existing right now, and we want to create one. And so we have to come to agreement on 4 things. We have to come to agreement on who the bonded validators are, and that's just going to be whoever of us wants to participate and send me a public key. Next, we have to come to agreement on what wallets are going to exist at Genesis, and that we don't need to worry too much about that yet because there aren't too many things we can do with our wallets. And we need to come to agreement on a timestamp. So let's just look at what time it is. So this is how many seconds it's been since January 1st, 1970. And so that's how we express what time it is. So we're just going to grab a timestamp like this. And then the last thing we need to come to agreement on is how many signatures we need for this launch to be successful. And so I usually like to set it to something kind of lowish in case some people have trouble or something. So here's the steps right now. Go ahead and generate a public key pair like I did. So that was just run RNode with RNode run -s. I did it.
Hey, Joshy, before everybody does that, can I ask a question?
Yeah, how about as everyone does that? You ask the question.
Well, because the question is, if we've been using a wallet and a bond key for the last month or so, we actually don't have to keep regenerating, correct?
Any key you want is fine. Yep, any key pair you want is fine. I would recommend using a throwaway one since we're all like learning and communicating with each other, and it's easier than normal to accidentally leak the secret part. So like, don't use the one that has your ETH locked up in it, but a key pair is fine.
Right, and then the other point of that is every time you do an install, you're going to wipe out that Genesis directory. So I've actually taken wallet and Abon files that I've already created in the past and put them in a separate directory. So when I run my RNode, I point to that directory. So I actually don't have it in the Genesis directory anymore.
Yep, that's all totally good ideas. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful thinking. So I think to demonstrate what Ned said, I'm going to use this key that I just showed as my primary, as like my key that I'm using in this ceremony. So in order to not accidentally delete it, I'm just going to move it. So I'm going to move that file, and I'm going to move it right to my desktop. Okay, so now I won't accidentally delete it, because like one of the next things I'm going to do is just rm-rf my whole .rnode directory. I think first maybe I'll copy my Abon's file so I have the template. Okay, cool. So you can see in the chat window, some people who are familiar with this process have already started to do it. If you want to be part of the Genesis ceremony, all you have to do is send me your public key. And so that's the one that's the file name, the thing that ends with .sk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect those into a bonds file that we can then all agree on. So I'll bring up my text editor. Open desktop.txt. Okay, cool. So this is the format of the bonds file, and I'm just going to type over this with all the ones that people have given me. So I've got Kelly's key. So Kelly, I'm going to give you a weight of 2, just because that was already there. Jeremy, you get a weight of 3. And just to understand the high level, what we're doing here is we're saying all of these people, Kelly and Jeremy and whoever else I put in here, are validators right from Genesis. They're participating in the network right from the launch. And these numbers need not be unique. So now, like we have 2 different validators with the same weight. All right, we got Ned. This is great. You guys are fast today. And we've got Tomislav.
Yeah, because after the 20th time, it starts to make
totally skip feeling me.
Yes.
What was that, Tom?
Scroll up at the 18-minute mark. Phil,
Oh, I skipped you?
Phil and Paolo.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You were too fast for me to even notice. Dang. All right, Paolo, since I feel bad, I'll give you a lot of weight here.
Haha.
Should, for the sake of testing, should we, I'm willing to be out if it would help if I bonded.
I think what's probably going to happen, Kelly, is we're going to have enough people that it goes wrong somehow that are able to bond.
Fantastic.
So, or that
Let's
just
hope for going wrong.
Yeah. So there'll be opportunities to bond. Or if for whatever reason it works perfectly, then you can just kill your node and generate a new key.
Okay, try again. Great. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I don't have drawer yet. Oh, Tomislav, you sent me a different key. You're killing me, man. I don't remember which one was yours. That's okay. We'll put them both.
Sorry. I pasted the private key.
Oh no! I hope it doesn't.
It was number 5.
It was line 5.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, Jim. Oh my goodness, you guys are doing so great. So Kelly, this is basically what you guys did in Berlin, right? We sent these all in via Google form, and then you guys made the file.
That's correct.
Cool.
It was a one-time activity. We did that on the very first day, and then never ever again.
Yeah, right.
But this is a good reminder of how this process works.
So this looks good. So what we've done is created a 2-column table saying the person in the left column has the weight given in the right column. And so all these people, which includes all of us, are going to be Genesis validators. Okay, so I need to get this file to you guys now. Is there a better way than just pasting it into the chat window?
Do you want to put it in Drive or Dropbox?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. That's a good idea. This is what I'll do.
Or Discord. Sports files, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, Discord also does.
Yeah, I did Discord last time. I just closed Discord because I was getting so many notifications. It was distracting me while I was trying to lead. So, okay, so here's bonds.txt. So the other thing we need then is the timestamp. And so I'll just real quick look at my watch again. So this is the current time. We'll say that's the time of our Genesis block. So I'll put that right there. And then the last thing we need is the number of signatures. I'll just call it this. And so let's see, we have 12 people in there, and a lot of times you know some of them will get mistakes or whatever. So just to make us have a real high likelihood of success, I'll say we need 6 signatures. 6 of those 12 people have to sign successfully. Create that gist. And so you guys can all go to this website and get those files that I just created. So the bonds.txt you'll actually have to download and save as a file, just like we did right here.
I want to make it 5.
Did you create a wallets file?
Oh, right, and the wallets file, oh yeah. Does someone have a format for the wallets file that I can copy? So the bonds file, like I said, tells who all is going to be Genesis validators, like who's validating from the beginning. And then wallets file says who all has Rev tokens from the beginning. And so we don't really care about the values there, but I guess maybe we do need the file. So let's see if I can just grab one up from the past. So stand by a second and I'll get that going.
Do we need the wallets file?
I don't know. I thought
I
maybe
don't think we do. We don't typically use them when we spin up the bootstraps.
Oh, you just omit it entirely?
Yeah, because you just need the bonds file to
Okay,
get
perfect.
the
That's
validators.
good to know. That's something for me to learn too.
If you don't have a wallets file, you can't propose a block.
I don't think that's.
I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah, I think as long as you're a bonded validator, you can propose a block.
Right. You're right to recognize that in the future that what we just said of not having a wallets file does not make sense. But given the state of the technology today, it works just fine without a wallets file.
Right. Good. So also, if anyone wants to review afterwards, I'm remembering we do have our whole process of doing this previously here. So the command that I need to run is, I'm going to start with this as a template, but it's not identical to that. So first I have to type the path to where RNode lives now. And then let's see. So, one second.
So, Kelly, can we omit the wallet parameter on the command line, or we still need it? It just doesn't matter what the file is for the wallets.
You don't need the wallets file.
So you can't give it a different. If we're going to omit it, we need to all do exactly the same thing and omit it. If you give it a different file, you're not going to sign the block because it's going to say your wallets didn't match the expected wallets. Because that's one of the 4 things we need to come to agreement on.
Yeah, so keep in mind when we did this, when we launched the testnet in Berlin and included a wallets file, what that wallets file contained was the information that would support the Rev issuance. That was the contents of that wallets file.
I mean, it seems to me if at Genesis you don't have any Rev, I don't know how you create it.
Yeah, but Jim, the idea is that RNode is not yet developed to the point where we use that Rev for anything. So you're right, we don't have it and we won't create it. Well, I guess there is a faucet, but the point is we don't yet need it to actually pay for our deploys.
Oh, that being said, Joshi, you would need to include the faucet command in order to have the faucet available.
Yeah, right. That's true. But we don't need that either, right? Or do we? In order to
Well, you do if somebody wants to bond.
Oh, okay, okay. So let's work through that together then. We can all figure that out. So okay then. Let's at least come up with an empty wallets file so we all have one, or should I just do Genesis -- Genesis faucet or whatever the?
Yeah, I think it's.
I think for now we should all just create a wallets file. So if you can just open up guest, just copy the bonds and add the address in front of all the different keys, along with the rev that they have. And
okay, why do you think we should do that? That's a fine idea. I'm just trying to follow the thought process.
So the thought process is, so when I try to bond, well, actually, the reason why I think we should do that is because in order for us to propose, so if someone wanted to bond to me, I would need to actually issue out rev. But there's no rev because there's no wallets file to show that I could propose a new block.
Okay, is that so? I've always been on the I'm the guy gonna bond side of that experience. Does that, Kelly?
But that's what Jim and I ran into last night. That's why you're saying that we need a wallets file.
Do we, Kelly? Does that sound right, or Pavel? We actually need rev to bond.
I mean that for that case, there's the faucet, isn't there?
Right, that's why the faucet is there. So when you hold on, let me think about this for a second.
Yeah.
When we were bonding before, there was the Bootstrap there was a faucet in the system, and it's when you create your bonding command, you specify an amount of coin, but it's pulling from the faucet. There's not a wallet involved there.
That was my understanding too. So just I need to know what of these commands I need to use to make the faucet there.
So it's here's what Kent had. It's has faucet.
Cool. Did that come into the chat just now?
No, but I can.
Oh no. Okay. You just said it. Understood. So okay. Has faucet.
And Josh as the MC is the only one that has to do that.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's make sure we got everything we need here. We have a deploy timestamp that we've all agreed on. We have the required number of SIGs that we've all agreed on. We have the bonds file that we've all agreed on. That's where I saved it. So this path will have to be to wherever you saved it. I'm the one saying we need a faucet, right? Because I'm the central coordinator here. It's master of ceremonies. And so then I need to do interval. So this is how often I'm going to send out my proposed Genesis block for you guys to try to sign it. And so I guess we can do like 15 seconds there. And duration is the minimum amount of time that this ceremony will go on before we get our SIGs. And so we can keep it nice and short and say like 5 minutes. Okay, I think that's everything. And if not, some message will tell us and we'll learn from it.
Private key?
Yeah, so I'm actually not going to be one of the Genesis validators. I learned recently that as the master of ceremonies, I can't sign the Genesis block. So I'm just going to coordinate here.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So our commands will be without the house faucet, but we add our private key.
Yeah, so and it's going to have a bootstrap. And so I'm going to help you guys compose your command right now. So this thing that I've highlighted in my node log, that's my own RNode address. And so you guys can all bootstrap to me when we go to do this. So I guess I will add another file in here. So I'll call this validator command template. Oh, I didn't expect that. So you guys are going to RNode run. You're going to bootstrap from me. Whoa. So I'll paste my address in there. The deploy timestamp is the thing that we agreed upon above. So I can put that in there too. The required number of SIGs is 6, so I can put that in there for you. The data directory, so now this is something you guys will actually need to either update or delete yourself. So if you're using a data directory that's not just .rnode, then put it in here. If you are using the default, then just delete the entire data directory command. Again, path to bonds file is something that you guys will have to update for wherever you saved your own bonds file. The wallets file we've skipped. You are going to be a Genesis validator. You do need to specify your private key, and then this is where you put it. So I'm going to save that.
6 may be optimistic. I'm having network issues, so I won't be part of it.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Jim. That's okay. We had 12 keys in here anyway, so we might be able to still get 6. Okay. So I think if I'm understanding correctly, we're ready for everybody to run not this literal copy paste, but copy paste this and then fill in your values for where your data directory is, where your bonds file lives, and what your private key is. So, oh, look, and it looks like I've already got some peers. I wonder if those are people who connected on purpose.
All right, here goes nothing.
All right. So the one thing, I thought that I would see messages about beginning to send my candidate around.
Let's see, I'm looking. Pavel, are you watching?
Here?
Yeah, Pavel,
What?
look at Joshy's screen. So Joshy's operating as a master of ceremonies for the Genesis ceremony. He started his node, and what we're not observing is the passing around of the approved block.
Or even the candidate.
Right, the candidate. Forgive me.
Is it okay? I have only one peer now.
But was there a transition?
No.
So it just started.
No. When you start your node,
Mm-hmm.
the node at some point goes to a state where he says, like, I'm transitioning to the state where I'm, right now responding to approved blocks.
Yeah. We're way before that. We're not even to the point where I've sent out the candidate for anyone to inspect.
Okay.
Joshi, can you show your command once more?
Yeah, totally. This was my command right here. Oh, I never put standalone. That probably was necessary.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that is important.
Okay, my
Try
bad. So let's see. So I'm going to Control C that. I'm going to remove my .rnode directory. So if you have your node up, you also, I guess, should bring it down for this, right? And then, oh, I messed up my delete command, but that might be good because I remember people saying if I don't delete my TLS certificate, then I don't get a new RNode address. Okay. Does this look better? Anyone who can?
I'm looking. Hold on. Required sig, bonds file, faucet, interval. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Phil, Pavel, any chance to object before I press enter?
Bunch of these flags, I don't even know what those are, but it seems fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems fine. What seems fine?
Wait, do you need a duration time for how long?
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Oh, there you go. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
No, good. Thank you for helping me check. Jeremy, I know you and Jim have done this a lot more recently than I have, so that's really good. So I think I'll get the same RNode address here. Listening for traffic on 335 Bravo 10.
That's the same.
Yay.
Okay, so now we can try again.
Yeah. Here we go. This is what I was looking for before, and now we have it.
There you go. Okay.
So the game we're playing is my node is creating a Genesis block, what it thinks it should be based on my bonds and timestamp and number of SIGs. And then it sends that block out to all of you guys, and your job is to check that block, make sure it matches all the stuff that you expected, and if it does, then sign it and send it back. So that's what our nodes are doing right now.
All right, I'm connected to Joshi. I see other peers, and now I'm waiting.
So we should only have one peer now. Am I right?
You can have other peers. You may have other peers. You should make sure that you have one of your peers is definitely Joshi.
So Kelly, you might get other peers because you have the same IP address.
Right.
Previous versions, right?
That's correct.
I'm getting one peer as well.
Okay.
I have a new IP.
I can say that when we did this last week, we ran about 3 of these successfully last week. And many of the people who were not the masters of ceremony only ever got me as a peer.
Yeah, and this was kind of a problem as we transitioned. We get no other peers after the transition even.
Right. Yeah, did we ever figure out what was the reason?
I suspected that the port was somewhat wrong because in my node it showed that the discovery port is 404.
Oh yes, so it was Josh's computer the problem, right?
I don't know whether it's Josh's computer or whether it's bug in the software. But
Did you guys customize the discovery port? Something other than 40404?
So I remember that something with Josh's ports. I think Joshi found out that his ports were different than something
I don't remember confidently concluding that, but I do remember that hypothesis. But I thought this still looked the same with these 2 things in my RNode address. But I don't know. It remains an open issue. And I'm also curious what the expected behavior there is. Are we supposed to get more peers than the master of ceremonies during the ceremony?
Yeah, you can. It's supposed to is. I mean, you can, right? If no, you're operating in a standalone mode. But I'm bootstrapping to you, and then others may have remembered me from previous outings.
But I guess the question is, are we gossiping peers? Like at some point after the network's launched, when someone new dials in, we say, like if someone bootstraps to me, I say like, here's a bunch of other peers you can connect to. And I didn't know if that process happened before the ceremony completed.
I don't think that's accurate. Pavel, can you confirm Node doesn't gossip?
Node doesn't gossip. No, there's no built-in protocol, but maybe you mean something else by gossip.
Possibly.
Yeah, specifically what I mean is like, imagine we're not doing the Genesis ceremony. We just have a network that's running, and there's like, I don't know, 10 validators in there. And so a new person comes in and joins the network, and they bootstrap to one of those 10 people who's already in. They don't just have one peer forever, right? They learn of other peers through a gossip network. Like, isn't that what Kademlia does?
Yes, that's what Kademlia is doing.
So my question is, should that be happening now during the Genesis ceremony, or does that not start until after the ceremony is complete?
No, it should start, Josie, this is Navneet, it should start.
I can tell you what's going on. So you boot your node, and it immediately, the Kademlia protocol immediately starts looking up for new peers. Okay. And then at the same time, some other protocol reach out for the peers that it learned, the Kademlia learned, and tries to connect to those peers via the RChain protocol handshake, so that protocol handshake response scenario. We can always suspend that to happen after a given transition happens.
Yeah. No, I don't think.
But for now, but for now, it's more like immediately jumps in and
cool
connects.
Okay, I think that's the desired behavior probably. Okay, so back to what we're doing.
I don't see just I don't see that. Why wouldn't it? It's because like the fact that my node is connected to other nodes doesn't really need anything. It's like there's like a Casper makes the decisions. Oh, like I will send this message to all those nodes.
Right. So you're saying there's no harm in getting peers right away, correct?
Yes, I think it's not a problem that it's getting peers right away.
I totally agree. The problem last week was that we did not get peers. People only were connecting to me, not to each other.
We're still not getting any peers from you.
Yeah, what I suspect is running RNode diagnostics shows me just Joshi as a peer, but there it says a different port for the discovery. So what I suspect is that something's broken there.
So okay, so that's good. That's a ticket we can probably file. I think there was a link to.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Today there was a link to filing a bug, and
here's the link to filing a bug. I'm curious, Phil, can you confirm that you entered the bootstrap address correctly with discovery ending in 404? You did. Okay.
So I'm not sure if that's a bug though. Are we sure those ports are correct?
The protocol port should be 4400, and the discovery port should be 4404.
Oh, okay. Because I know the last test that worked like 2 weeks ago.
We did change it. Yeah. That was special for that test only.
I see. Okay.
So someone had asked me to enter my Master of Ceremonies command in here. So I will do that.
Oh, we haven't seen any kind of approval.
Yeah, same. So I think the ceremony is not going according to plan right now.
Well, okay, but let's agreed, and let's focus on what's happening and what's not happening. So some people are unable to find peers.
Right.
Other people are. I'm up to 12 peers. No one, as far as I know, and let's validate this, has anyone seen the candidate come through.
So you would receive a message like received expected candidate or
received expected candidate or unexpected. Like, has anybody received anything? No, Paolo. Okay, I have not either.
Okay. So last time we did this, as we mentioned, we did have the problem with people not getting peers. Mm-hmm. So like many, like Phil and Dror were only connected to me as Master of Ceremonies. But despite that, we still did get the candidate, and they signed it, and we launched the network successfully. So there's maybe two separate.
Okay, yeah, I think they are two separate. And so let me just check in. When you did launch the network successfully, and after the approved block was sent, then did Phil get peers?
Phil,
So it was just Joshy, and once he got offline, I was just
then the network died because I was like the central hub, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so other than Phil, and Phil, you have some known issues related to peering. Did anybody else have the I don't have peers, and then after they got an approved block, then they had peers?
Tomislav, can you tell us again what your experience last week was and whether it matches this week?
Yeah, it's the same. I always have only one peer, and now I see more peers on my node 7. And what I changed is I open up 404, the discovery port. I open up in my Docker container. So I'm guessing maybe this is the problem.
Phil, can you confirm that 40404 is open for you?
Oh, it is open, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna get you friends, buddy. It's our mission.
Yeah, it's open for me also.
Okay, and well, open for you also, and you only have a single peer.
One peer, correct.
One peer. Got
And
it.
is it me, Ned? Is it the peer with RNode 335 Bravo 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
same for me.
that seems ticketable. Phil, do you want to take the lead on writing that ticket?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool, thanks. And then, so what the other question? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
well, I'm curious, for those who do have peers, I'm going to put my node address in the chat here. Does anybody have me as a peer?
So let's remind people how we can check that.
Kelly, I have you.
Okay, good. And how many peers do you have?
I also have you.
Now I have 10.
Okay.
Hey, I don't.
So that's the thing, though. Sorry, you might have connected to Kelly in previous sessions, and you still have your same IP as well.
That is correct. My IP doesn't change from time to time.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm noticing in the Bootstrap node, the IP address is 73.231, but in the connected to Joshy's node, the IP is 71.72. Is that correct? Two different IP addresses there?
I don't think that's right, Ned. The command that I gave has my IP is 7172.11.204.
So, Joshy, can you get a new IP, or do you want me to run it?
Let me.
I cannot easily get a new IP. This is just my laptop that I'm running on.
Okay, let me check.
But if you delete your RNode directory with the keys, you will get the new address. So
I'll get a new RNode address.
No, he will keep the same IP though.
Right, the IP address stays the same.
If I let me run the ceremony instead and see if anyone else gets more than one peers.
Okay. People feel good about that idea?
I want to check in. We've got about 8 minutes left. I have a hard stop at the top of the hour. So if you do want to continue and try again, I need to suggest that we change rooms. I can change hosts, but what will happen is I'll still drop you once I start a new meeting.
Yeah, right.
So it's interesting. I've just confirmed that I actually have the right Bootstrap IP address, Joshy, of 71.72. But for some reason, it's still saying listening for traffic on node OFBE.
That's your node. That's your node. The listening for traffic is your node.
Okay.
The starting a node that will bootstrap from.
Okay, so those should be.
They should be different. It's important that they're different.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Joshy, are you sure that 40404 is open? Because I can't reach that port.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Can you puppet me through figuring out whether it's open?
Hold on.
So we're gonna end in just a few minutes, so we get out of Kelly's room, and then Dror, if you want to restart one, that would be great, and you can post a link in Discord, and we'll jump in there.
Usually, got that on your router.
There's probably a web service that can tell me if it's open, right?
I think the easiest way is to use nmap command.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds like someone who can just tell me what to do. Go.
If I only remembered.
You don't remember. Okay, so. Oh, there it is. Yeah, canyouseeme.org. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. This is the one I'm checking, 40404?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I just used telnet IP, and then the port number. Both work.
You could not see me?
I could not see you.
Okay, so maybe that's the problem, right? I didn't have my network ports configured correctly.
Well, then how is anyone connected to you?
That's a good question.
I mean, we can connect to you. It is on 40400, and that is open. Yeah.
So 40400 is open. 40404
Oh, that is okay. So the protocol.
Epic fail.
No, hold on. So the handshake protocol worked. I'm connected through 4400, but the discovery.
This just explains why some of us are just connecting to Joshi, and those probably don't have any kind of history of other peers.
Right.
So they just can connect to Joshi, but then they don't get to know all of the other peers. But that doesn't explain why we don't get those unapproved blocks and block messages or sending those.
Joshi, on your end, do you see evidence of sending blocks or sending the candidate? You do see?
Yes.
Can I see?
Sent unapproved block.
If I may interrupt for a second, this is kind of important. If you have a protocol handshake, so you connected with somebody, that proves that you have connections both ways and for sending messages. Kademlia could be closed, so you were not able to discover new nodes in the network, but at least the people who tried to connect to you are connected.
That makes perfect sense. That's exactly what we're seeing.
The fact that we don't see other messages flying, it's probably not the communication layer itself.
Yeah, okay, right. So Pavel, let me repeat that back to make sure I understood correctly. The fact that we just discovered that for whatever reason my port 40404 is closed totally explains why many people are only getting me as a peer, but it does not explain why me sending the approved block and they're not receiving a candidate, or sending the unapproved block and they're not receiving a candidate.
That is correct.
Okay, cool. So
404 was the discovery port, right? The
40404 is the discovery port, and I failed to open it on my end.
That is correct.
Okay, so the thing that maybe is an issue that we need to ticket is, why am I sending the unapproved block to people who have completed handshakes with me, but they're not receiving it?
Correct. And what we need in that ticket, Joshi, is your log.
Okay.
And someone else's log.
Okay, cool.
So I want to see your log sending the candidate, and I want to see somebody else's log not getting it, even though they're paired with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let's do this. So we're going to wrap this up and get out of Kelly's room. Anyone, Phil, Dror, anyone who Tomislav has participated in this and got me as a peer, but not seen the block candidate come across, please get me your log, your RNode.log file. Either you can email it to me, I'll type my email here, or DM it on Discord. Your now, which is called rnode.log.
For what it's worth, you guys, this is exactly what we were hoping to see happen.
Yeah.
Based on what we observed late yesterday afternoon.
And also confirmed with Telnet that the 40400 from Joshi is open while the other one is closed.
Correct. Yeah, perfect. That's good. Okay. Kelly, thanks for hosting us in your room.
My pleasure.
And thank you, everybody, for helping us get this debug information. Big success.
Yay. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Is there a new room?
I think there is going to be a new room. Who was going to open that? That person might have left already. Look to the everyone go to the node testing in Discord, hopefully to find a location.
Yep. All right.
Thank you so much, guys.